Wasn't sure if I should just tack this on to the video I just made about what happened today, the tragedy that happened today. I decided to just make a separate video. I it may come off as my not understanding that picking up and leaving your nation is not something that is doable easily at all. For some people, not at all doable. I also wanted to clarify that someone who is relatively unencumbered like myself, I don't have a husband anymore. If I did, if I were still married, my ex-husband would never, ever have picked up and left America. So when and if I ever got to the point where it felt very, very unsafe here for me, because he and we don't look the same. We look very, very different. I would have to choose. I would have to make a choice between my marriage and my safety. That would be unthinkable. Honestly, it would have been unthinkable. I'm glad I'm not in that situation. You know, lots and lots of people are. I understand that money is a huge obstacle to people who want to leave. But again, I'd like to clarify that if you need to get out, if you really want to get out and go somewhere else, no matter what country you're in, if you want to leave it, you can make that happen. If the obstacles we talked about before, if you've got someone who is ill, obviously you're not leaving your family member behind. If it is too involved medically to take them with you, if you have a husband, if you do a job that means everything in the world to you, you can't do that particular job somewhere else. These are things that would prevent you from easily or possibly at all making a move. Those things don't apply to most of us, except for the husband part. If your husband's not on board or your wife's not on board, then you're making that decision on your own. That's, again, pretty unthinkable. As far as money goes, leaving your nation, it means leaving pretty much everything behind. Unless you have family that you can leave the majority of your belongings with, or that you can, if money's a problem, obviously you cannot store those things. That's not doable. Storage is expensive. You're going to have to leave all or most of it in order to leave. Depending on what country it is that you would go to, you may not be able to bring some or all of those things into someone else's country. Leaving this country is unthinkable to almost any of us who grew up here. If you have to leave, is imperative to your safety, then that changes things. Your stuff becomes less important. How you live once you get to someplace else becomes less important. Very few countries are as expensive as it is to live. Most countries don't accumulate stuff the way we do. They don't put the emphasis on things as harshly as we do here. I think the biggest obstacle is the block that people have in their minds about going. I'm not immune to that. I love my city. I don't want to leave here. I could certainly envision it happening. I think the biggest problem with going is, will you be able to get back? That, I think, is something I think about a lot. What if I left and the government changed even more? I could not get back in. Not to see my family, not if someone dies. Oh, family, jeez. I keep forgetting, I don't have a family. I divorced my family. I do have friends that feel like family here. It's something I think about. Quite honestly, if I wanted to leave because I felt unsafe here, I shouldn't be returning, quite honestly. I get it. People, we become very attached to our places and our people and our things. And I wish I had more viewers, or some really, people who to talk about this with. I guess I'm going to have to go. Quite honestly, I worry about going on websites about people who are talking about this, because that could be potentially dangerous. I didn't want to come off as flippant about leaving, because I get that it's difficult and it can be complicated. Ultimately, you can leave. I don't care what nation you are in. Unless you're in North Korea, you can pretty much leave. So It is something to think about, and it's something that I hope more people will begin thinking about, because even if you choose to come back, everything and moving it somewhere is kind of a protest. It's saying, I'm not down for this anymore. I didn't sign up for this. I just hope more people are thinking about it. I hope we're to the point in our history of this country that more people are considering doing that. That more people are considering writing down the pros and cons and at least seeing which way's heavier ultimately. So that's it.